Today is Valentine's Day, and I think I've had it backwards for 36 years. I've believed, like so many others, that success is usually a result of a ton of hard work and even more luck. I want to challenge that because I think something big is missing from that formula. And I think AI will change this formula in what might be the most profound shift ever, not just to technology, but to the way we live and learn. Let me tell you exactly why. Yesterday, I got to FaceTime with Grandma Daisy. And if you know about my Grandma Daisy, it means you're literally anyone who's ever worked with me or talked to me in any capacity at any point in my life. I cannot not tell people about Grandma Daisy. She's 93 and is by far the most creative, weird, confident, impatient person I have ever known. And there's not a chart, a test, or enough words in the world to express how much she has shaped not just my life, but who I am and how I think. I believed success was hard work plus luck. I think we got luck wrong. Luck can feel like, oh, I randomly ran into that one investor, or I know a guy who knows a girl who can connect me with that developer. And that's a part of it, sometimes a huge part of it. But what I think is more fundamental and profound, and certainly more controllable than chance, is something far harder to measure. And it's not always talked about with success. And that is love. Stick with me, this is actually huge. The question is, how does love, like Grandma Daisy's effect on me, how do experiences from earlier on in life have any bearing on how successful or unsuccessful we're going to be down the road? And what about those who don't have those experiences? My friends and my family know this. On paper, I was statistically far less likely to be successful, or what a lot of people might call a contributing member of society. Single parent household, significantly constrained means, which is just a politically correct way of saying we had no money. My mom would work multiple jobs, we'd clean offices on weekends, and all of this, it instilled a super focused work ethic, but it was far from what a lot of external observers might consider ideal. But I think what had the most significant effect on my growth, at least, is that even though we didn't have much in terms of means, I didn't grow up wanting anything. I mean, I wanted an N64 like every kid in 1996, but I mean, for the most part, I didn't miss the stuff I didn't have. And for the longest time, I used to think I didn't want anything growing up because I just didn't know about it. But later I realized I was wrong. I didn't want anything, or I didn't feel like I missed out on anything because I had people who cared about me. My mom, my grandma, my Aunt Karen, my Aunt Nancy, my Uncle Nelson, my dad when we started spending more time together. And all of this may sound unscientific, and you're right, but I think that foundation is what gave me the confidence to become the person I am today. And I think at the core of that, the clearest impact on all this stuff, my startup, my creative outlet, is my Grandma Daisy. I am a better founder because my Grandma Daisy showed me what creative can mean. I'm a better writer because she showed me what weird and confident can look like. And I'm a better educator because she showed me how to turn impatience into not just getting stuff done, but creating some of the best teaching that can get into the heads of other people and engage them and take them anywhere. Almost all of my success can be traced back to people who've shown me love, who've taken a chance and shown me kindness. From my very first manager, Diane, at San Francisco Oven, to Steve and Alex at Best Buy, to Rose with my very first startup, my very first co-founders, to Sarah, who gave me a shot to work on Grey's Anatomy and Desperate Housewives, to all my clients when I was doing agency work, to Vlad and Sergi and Bryant at Webflow, to anyone who's ever seen a video that I've made teaching anything whatsoever. All these people have one thing in common. They've taken a chance on me. I am where I am, not just because of luck. I'm here because others gave me a chance, and luck isn't specific enough to capture what I think is way too often overlooked. People have shown me love. They've given me attention. My friends would often say too much attention. And if you ever catch me walking around looking like I'm confident, realize that under all of that is just a creative, weird, yes, confident, but impatient kid who's grown up just a little bit and wants nothing more than to help others feel some of those same opportunities. Someone who's making mistakes, learning from those mistakes, and aiming for an upward trajectory. That is it. But, and this is the most important part, what do you do in a world where not everyone has a Grandma Daisy in their life? It's not possible. Scientifically, you can't get her brain. It's in science. The answer, which might sound dystopian for just a second, is I think AI is starting to scratch the surface. Now, if you think of people who might be less fortunate, who don't have the access or the opportunity or maybe the kind of support that some of us might have had, and if you've taught in the classroom, you already know this. A lot of people, a lot of kids are much more alone in their circumstances. They don't always have that person. And society tends to point fingers and say, it's their home life. Or we go with the old, well, that's what you get when they don't have two parents, which, yes, is an actual thing a school parent said to me about a student I was teaching. And those of you who know me know exactly how I'd handle that parent, which I did. But for those who don't have those special people, or just that one special person, that kind of support, sometimes we're lucky enough to have that one teacher. For me, that was Terry Padishall, my band director, and then my first mentor, Jason Milhouse. But if you don't have anyone who believes in you, or you don't have that encouragement like Grandma Daisy, the math just doesn't work out that way for everyone, which is why, to me, if at any time a person says they should pull themselves up by their bootstraps, I have two immediate thoughts. One, the person saying this has not considered all the physics. For those who haven't tried, you cannot physically pull yourself up by bootstraps any more than you can create a perpetual motion machine or catch a shadow by outrunning the sun. And two, the person saying this may have had opportunities that the person they're judging hasn't. Sometimes it's something they're not aware of. It's harder to know what it's like to not have when all your life you've had something. And I've had more than my fair share of opportunity. Yes, I've worked extremely hard for a lot of it, but I am shaped by the experiences others have afforded me. And some of those people I haven't even met. Now, I got to meet with and I got to work with Vlad. So I've gotten to tell him how Webflow changed my life. And I see Nancy, my coach, on Friday, so I can remind her how impactful she's been over the last few years. But I haven't met the Knoll brothers or the original Photoshop team to tell them they created my first real canvas. I never met the Flash team or Danny Beaumont or Nancy Myers or Chris Nolan, people everywhere who've created tools or who made art that has shaped me or gave me a chance. And I haven't yet met Sam Altman or the team at ChatGPT who profoundly changed the way I work and live. And that's the reason I think the biggest, the brightest, and the most optimistic view here is that tools like these, great software, great AI, great inspiration, they can give someone else a chance. I'm not saying a large language model can give a child the love they need to thrive, of course not. But if that child doesn't have a specific creative outlet, or they don't have an encourager, someone to get them excited about learning and thinking about new things or art or science, we are, for the first time, for literally every one of us, we're at a moment in time where that's becoming possible. There is no such thing as a Grandma Daisy GPT. We could create one, but it just wouldn't be the same. But if you scale that back quite a bit, and take a look at what's already going on. Middle school chemistry tutor GPT, creative writing partner GPT, I need help practicing for a job interview GPT, bedtime story generator GPT. I've even been playing around with a startup co-founder type GPT. It's not hard to see that what used to be being at the right place at the right time or else you fail might not be the future. That maybe we're getting closer and closer to something that's almost at everyone's fingertips. And maybe that's the point. Maybe that is luck. But as more of us learn how to use these tools and grow and challenge ourselves with what we can make with that extra support or even encouragement, I don't think our future is doomed or that the world will fall apart or self-destruct. I think we are at a remarkable moment filled with possibility. I think that when we're given the right tools, most of us are capable of creating incredible things. So my view on this is simple. One, yes, success requires hard work. Two, you do need a good bit of luck, but more specifically, love or opportunity or encouragement, even if it's just yourself and you're finding resources or getting that help. It's a huge part of the equation. And three, AI is starting to scratch the surface. And if you take the optimistic view on this, which I do down to my core, AI isn't a rip and replace function for humans. It's just going to amplify our inherent abilities. Steve Jobs famously said the personal computer was like a bicycle. This is the coolest story. He would share this study. Scientific American did a study across all different types of species about their efficiency of locomotion. So how much energy it would require for each species to travel a certain distance. And then they ranked them. The Condor was at the top of the list, by far the most efficient. And humans ranked pretty low relatively, about a third of the way down on the list. But then someone had the brilliant insight at Scientific American to test a human on a bicycle. And it blew the Condor out of the water. The bicycle is a tool, and humans are tool builders. Tools amplify an inherent human ability. The personal computer did that really clearly, and I think AI is going to be the most impactful tool we've ever made. And we can play with a lot of it today. If you haven't tried a large language model, try something like ChatGPT. I am sure I will share more later, and there's a ton to teach in this area. But I think tools like this can amplify your inherent abilities. And when they're used the right way, I think they can have an even more profound effect on those who have less opportunity, who might not have their own Grandma Daisy. And with those tools, you'll be better equipped to create or interact. Maybe next time someone judges you or they judge someone around you by saying they should lift themselves up by their bootstraps, you can consider politely encouraging them to ask ChatGPT to teach them Newton's third law of motion so that they too can have an opportunity to improve. But if you're finding yourself down or you don't have that support system you want or need, consider that we're more connected as humans in both good and some bad ways than ever before. And most of us have never had these kinds of opportunities, as many opportunities as we have right now, especially in technology and in learning. So, is this a love letter to technology, to education? Maybe. But it's more of a love letter to those who've given me an opportunity, including a lot of people who are watching this video right now. And it's a love letter to anyone who hasn't found that person or that tool or that team yet. We're getting closer and closer to a world in which you can do anything you can dream up. It's not there, and of course there's going to be setbacks, but I think the case for leading with optimism is as strong as ever. And yes, for those following my startup journey, I will not leave you hanging, especially if you've sat through the last however many minutes. I am on track. I'm heading towards July 1st of launching, and please consider, of course, subscribing or following or whatever you do for Saturday's video because I am giving a big update. But with that, thank you everyone. Happy Valentine's Day, and take care.